Okay, for today's video, we're gonna work on a 99 on the Civic LX non-VTEC version. But today we're gonna do the valve adjustment. So I'll show you the tools you need. All right, so these are the tools you need. 2 ratchets, one to take out the valve cover, one for the crank, and this one right here is gonna be with the crank one. So this one, the size, is gonna be a 17, and it's gonna go in this area right here. So before you do turn the whole crank system, you want to put it on neutral, and of course you want to chuck your car up. So the other tools is going to be a 10mm wrench, then a flathead, then we got the filler gauge. So the size you're going to need for this one is going to be the 7 and 8. These are going to be for the intake side. Now for the exhaust, it's going to be the 9 and 10. Can't really see it there, but those are the tools you need. So let's take out the valve cover. All right, before we take off the valve cover, I'm going to show you all the bolts you're going to need to take out. So pretty much all the bolts on top, they're going to be 10mm. So of course we got to get this one out the way, this one right there, and then there's going to be 5 valve cover bolts holding it down. So it's going to be that one right there, of course that one, this one over here, and that one, and this one too. Don't worry about that one. If you do want to be like in a safe side, you can always number your coils, your wires. Well, in this case, I follow it by how long it is, so I'll just go with that. So the reason why we're going to do the valve adjustment is because when driving the car, you'll hear a lot of ticking noises coming from the valve. So usually when you're accelerating, you hear like ticking noises coming through the motor. Usually we'll think it's an exhaust leak. We check that out, and no, we didn't find any exhaust leak. So we're going to do the valve adjustment for. Okay, now that we have the valve cover off, you can see all the valves, springs, knockers, well, the lifters. And so the other thing you want to do is take off this part right here, like so the cam cover. So there's going to be 2 bolts, that one right there, and there's going to be another one over here hidden. Let's see if I can get that right over there. So pretty much you want to take that off, and you can finally get this off, and then it's gonna have writing saying I think up. I'll show you guys right now. All right, so now that I took off the cover, it was just those 2 10mm bolts. I'm gonna show you right here where it says up, right there. So we're gonna put that all, well, of course, upwards. And the way to do that, you're gonna use that well, the 17mm to turn that. I think it's gonna be counterclockwise or clockwise, but I'll give it a C. Okay, so now that we adjusted the crank, we're gonna get on top, and now you can actually see the up. So it's gonna be facing upward, and on the 2 sides we're gonna have 2 lines, which is that little line right there. Can't really see it, but that line right there is gonna be lined up with that arrow right here, and the same goes for the other side. So from there, now we're gonna work on cylinder 1. So the way you're gonna work on the cylinders, so you gotta follow by the firing order. So it's gonna be this one, then 4, and then 2. So that's a firing order right there. So cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the way I'm gonna, after I'm done with 1, I'm going to start on this one, which is cylinder 3, which is the firing order 2. Now from there, as soon as I'm done with 1, I'm gonna have to turn the cam like 90 degrees. So the up will be facing where the line is, where the arrow's at. And I'll get to the first one to show you how to get this done. All right, so we're gonna get started with the cylinder 1, which is the first firing. And we're gonna get started with the intake. So this one and that one. So where you want this filler to go, so first we're gonna start off with the 7. You just want to get it between the top. Let me see if I get that in there. Actually, yeah, it's on there, but it doesn't want to go through. So what you want the 7. Yeah, that's not going to go in. Try the other side. So what you want the 7 to go in smoothly, but not like rough in there. So this, yeah, these are tight in there. You want the 8 to not go in. You want the 7 to have like a little slide to it, like grip to it, but you don't want the 8 to go through it. So and then for the exhaust side, but I'm gonna show you how to adjust these just a little bit. And the way to adjust them, you just need to unlock these bolts with the 10, not the nuts. So you're gonna break them left. It's a little hard. Actually, let me loosen them up. So it's gonna be that way. So lefty loosey. So now that we have them loose, we can actually adjust the top. So since they were kind of tight, so we're gonna loosen it just a little bit, like just a little bit. And we're gonna check now if we could get that 7 filler through. This case. Yeah, just a little bit more. So that's right here. 7, yeah, a little bit more loose. That was a quick bit more, but see what happens. There, yeah, I guess this is more. I think it's gripping down there. I'll just leave it on. Just a little more. Let's see that. There we go. So now the 7's moving smoothly in there. So it has a little bit on there, but you know, just leave it right there. So let's see if this 7 gets through. So to me that's good, but you want it to move just a little bit more smoothly. I'm gonna just keep it right there, and I'm gonna move the 8 through there. The 8 is not supposed to go through. Okay, so we got our 8 feeler right there. So now we're gonna give it a try. See, it's not even going through. I don't want to force it in. You're not supposed to force them in there, but let me adjust it just a little bit. Just a little bit tighter, because let's see right here, like that. Now to tighten it back, you actually want to hold your flathead, but first you want to put your 10mm wrench, holding it just like that, and then from there you're gonna use your flathead. So using your flathead, you're gonna hold the top, because if as soon as you turn this right here, it's gonna turn the nut with it and the adjustment. So now that we have it tightened, there we go. So I kept it where it was, tightened. Now we're gonna start with the other one. All right, so now I already adjusted this one right here, the first one. So I'm gonna show you again. So this is gonna be the 7, it's gonna be the 8. So the 7 is supposed to go through freely, like that. Now the 8 is not supposed to, which I'm gonna have to force it in. Yeah, you see, it's not going in. So again, with the 7, freely, and then with the 8. Shit's freaking hard. Yeah, but it's hard. You're not supposed to force it, but that's what I'm doing right here. And now we're gonna get started with the exhaust side, which are these 2 right here. All right, so now for the exhaust side, you're gonna use the 9 and 10. Can't really see it, it's fading away. But what you want, the 9 going in just like that, easily. Now we're gonna try the 10. Yeah, I had to adjust it. Yes. All right, so we finally adjusted. So this is gonna be the 9. It's gonna go in freely, it's a little rough like that. And then the 10, which is not gonna go in. Yeah, I think it's not going in. So again, with the 9, going like that. And then with the 10. Okay, so there we go. So where you want to put it between, it's gonna be that piece right here. So let me show you the 9. Show you good. So right between that and this, you can't really see it, but yeah, there you go. Now on with the next cylinder, which is this one, cylinder 3. So that's gonna be the second firing order. And what you want to do is turn it at 90 degrees, and I'll show you right after. Okay, so now that we turned it 90 degrees, so you're gonna see the up position on this side, and you're gonna have that little line right here upwards. So now we can finally start on cylinder 3, firing order 2. So on this one, they're pretty good. I didn't really have to adjust them. So exhaust side, we're gonna start with the 9. So for instance, goes in like that. The next one, like that. Then the 10. So 10's gonna be this one. So it should not go in unless I force it in there. Yeah, it's not going in. Check this one. Yeah, it's not going in. So that's how you do it. And we're gonna get done with all of them. So remember the firing order. So it's gonna be this one, then 4, and then 2. So that's a firing order right there. All right, so we're done with cylinder 3, the firing order 2. Now we're gonna get to this one right here. So we already turned the up sign upside down. So if you can see it through here. So that's the up sign right there. So it's facing down now. So that's gonna be the firing order 3. Now for the last one, firing order 4 is gonna be number 2, which is this one right here. That one right there. Now the up sign is gonna be going that way. So at the end, I'll show you how it looks and how it goes. All right, now that we got all the valve adjusted, we're gonna put everything back together. So for me, well, for my sis car, we're gonna leave the valve cover gasket on there because it's still fresh. We recently did it. So what we're gonna put back first is gonna be the cam cover, and then valve cover gasket, and then the valve cover, and then all the bolts, and I'll show you how it goes. But before we do put anything back, you got to make sure all these nuts are all tightened up, all of them, because you don't want them one getting loose and bouncing all over the place. But check that out. And quick little thing, if you do want to know what kind of motor this is, it's going to be a D16 Y7. The Y7 doesn't have VTEC. The Y8 in that case has VTEC, and you could tell by the shape of the intake. So Y7 intake is going to come up, then over here. Of course, the Y8, it comes out from the side just like that. Okay, so now we're done putting everything back. So the way you want to tighten the valve cover bolt, it's a crisscross pattern. So pretty much do the middle first, go here, 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 and here, and just keep going back and forth until only hand tighten these. These you don't want to force it with a something like this. You could just easily, you could tell like. I just tied it until it because these are so fragile that these will strip up. Another thing, I haven't tightened these bolts. Still gonna tighten that one. But still, you just want to hand tighten all these bolts onto the valve, the valve head, and that's pretty much it.